Cold beer here. Welcome everybody back talking about some beer, some weird stuff, and whatever else is happening going on. Hope you caught our sampling with Wine Stefaner. Got a great show today. I'm Matthew Jaware. I'm here with Tilly, and we're going to chat with you about a bunch of random stuff, including what's happening in the world of beer and alcohol.
Yep. So first off, I brought this to our collective um, mindset, I guess, whatever the word would be for that. And I thought it was an interesting sports story. We aren't a sports show, but we'll talk about anything that occurs that pops up that sounds interesting. And I thought this was very interesting. And I don't know if you heard about this, Matt, but I'll get into it and you can let me know if you had. But John Means for the Orioles pitched a complete game. He got 27 out of 27 batters out, which sounds like a perfect game.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually did have one runner reach base, but it wasn't off of a walk or a hit by pitch or anything like that. He actually threw a third strike, and the catcher dropped it in, I believe it was the third inning or fourth inning. And the catcher dropped it, went past him, swinging on the third pitch. The batter got on base, and then in that same inning got thrown out at second. So that's how you get to the 27 out of 27. But he finished the game out as a complete game, no hitter.
But not perfect.
But not a perfect game. But in my
27
mind,
batters are out.
In my mind, I mean, how many perfect games have there been in Major League Baseball? Look this up.
I mean, quite a few.
Perfect games. There have been 23 official. So that's 23, which is very few. It's very difficult to do.
I mean,
but do you know how many? There's been a lot more no hitters, and there have been a lot of complete games, and there have probably been many that were just one off of getting that 27 out of 27. But this is the only pitcher who's ever gotten all 27 batters out
and not had
a perfect game because of something on him. It was his catcher dropping a ball early in the game.
Yeah, not because of something on him.
So that's like almost like a statistic that's not I'm not going to say it's better, because obviously a complete no hitter perfect game is better.
Are we mad at the catcher?
So if it had been, I feel like in the 8th or the 9th inning or even the 7th, like I feel like you could be frustrated at him. But this happened in, hold on, if I can find where it happened in the game.
Sure, but at the end of the day, the reason it's not a perfect game is because the catcher fucked up.
Yeah, so let me see.
I mean, right?
So a third inning dropped third strike.
Yeah.
So you can blame the catcher.
I mean, how could he not throw him out at first?
Was it a pass ball? It must have gone. It went past him. It must have gone just far enough that he couldn't get to it in time. But he did throw him out at second, and apparently he had.
Did the guy try to go to second?
He had.
Or was this on a separate? Did he try to steal second?
Yeah, he threw him out a second. So before, he had to have stolen second because nobody else got on base.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Advancing on like a.
Did he try to turn? Well, I guess I don't even know if that's allowed. Can he turn that? Can he run into second if the wild pitch is bad enough?
No, it was a base stealing. I see right here.
Okay.
Apparently, before throwing this guy out, he was 0 for 7 on throwing out someone stealing a base. So, he at least made it up and made it to where he could still end up 27 out of 27 game no hitter.
So his pitcher didn't throw a perfect or a no hitter and have a fucking run scored against him.
Yeah,
that's happened, right? That's happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it has. I've looked it up before. I'm not going to look it up right now, but I'm pretty sure it's happened before.
I like fun fun sports stories that haven't happened before, especially in baseball, because that is a stat sport. So
And
if it's never
they
happened
play so
before,
many
that's pretty
games.
awesome, man.
They play so many games that if something hasn't happened, it's pretty unique. And that's why, like, obviously you want to get the complete game, no hitter, perfect game. But this is unique in the record book. So
Yep.
John
Catcher
Means
fucked
will
up.
at least be the first. Will it happen in the future? Probably. I mean, given enough time, anything will happen again. But at the very least, he is the first to ever have that happen. So major props to him, and good job on the catcher for getting his first throw out of a base stealer when it mattered. Next time, catch the ball or throw him out at first so that it can maintain a perfect game.
This is just a good lesson for everybody as to why it matters to take pride in doing everything that you're doing every time you're doing it, even when it might not matter or nobody's looking. Third inning, your pitcher's rolling, whatever. We threw him out, no problem. Next thing you know, you're in inning 7 and he's retired everybody. And I can guarantee you that catcher was thinking back to that pass ball on the third strike going, you got to be kidding me. And in the 9th inning, he probably was like, no fucking way. Now, again, it may have made him pay closer attention in that 7th, 8th, and 9th inning to make sure that he didn't screw it up again. But this is a lesson for you. Yes. Take pride.
Also,
if it's sweeping the front foyer and you're in a hurry, it doesn't matter. Get all the leaves out. Just do it.
But also in that same vein of that, don't let your past mistakes dictate how things are going to be in the future, because
future behavior, and
that catcher could have let it go to his head in the 8th inning, 9th inning and messed up, but he didn't, and he stayed focused. And John Means got a no-hitter complete game. Maybe not be perfect, but only 23 people have ever managed to be perfect in that, so it's not that bad.
Absolutely. That's a great story.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was interesting when I saw it come across my timeline on Twitter. I was like talking to people at the bar and stuff. I was like, wait a minute, did you see this? Like, it's super interesting. And nobody really appreciated it the way I did. And I don't even like baseball, but I love cool sports stories. So
well, let's raise a glass to that pitcher. Hell of a job. I don't have anything in my glass, but
I'm actually on to the beer I was starting drinking. It's from Three Sons Brewing in Dania Beach, Florida.
Oh yeah, we've had some Three Sons on tap at the brewery.
33333, and I can't even read that. There's a lot of letters. And no lacor. Oh, inoculator. It's just in like fancy, like old English font. It says it on the side. Inoculator lager. Tastes like a Doppelbock, in case anybody wants to know. But anyway, we can move on beyond that. I drink a lot of beer. You don't have to hear about every single one of them, although you probably will. I thought those was interesting, and Matt was informing me that it had passed through DeSantis as well. That we will be able to do cocktails to go for good in Florida going forward. I think it's
just alcohol to go. I mean, restaurants have never been able to send beer or wine or spirits out. In theory, if your local restaurant wants to sell you a bottle of Jack, now they can send that with your food to you, which is awesome.
When everything shut down, like last March and April, in the beginnings and continuing on for months, we had a restaurant up the road called Blue Water Bay, and they were listing like bottles of liquor at cheaper than I could get them for at like liquor stores, because they had been buying it at lower prices, so they were going a little bit under like the retail price of them. So we would go up there and pick up food, which was more expensive, but then get the bottles of liquor for a little bit less, and it was nice, and I would love to be able to keep doing that. So, um,
Yeah.
I
I
mean, they
think the
probably
real
won't
thing
sell the
is,
bottles for as cheap because I think they were using it as a way to get people in to buy food and tip the people working there and everything as well. So it probably
yeah.
won't be as cheap as it was, but if I can go there and pick up drinks or liquor or beer or whatever with my food, that makes it so much easier. One less stop I have to make.
Well, and really, I think what it will benefit the most is for delivery, because all of the third party delivery players now have agreed to and are delivering alcohol. It's a little bit clunky yet because like Uber, DoorDash, those are big national companies, so there's massive waivers and things you got to sign, and it's a little different. But they all do it now, and they didn't before COVID, so that's changed. And then just what won't change is the continued trend for people buying
Yeah.
food for delivery, and so to be able to add that for these local places to the menu is great for us as a brewery. We're having discussions right now with Grubhub because they deliver beer as a third party. And so we're going to add the food on the back end of that. And, there's
Mhm.
not very many experiences that you can order online, Uber or Grubhub, and say,
Yeah.
you know what, I want a fresh crowler of the dry hot blonde with my freaking burger. That's dope. Like you can't
Yeah.
do that. Normally you have
You
to
can't do that
give a lot
elsewhere.
more effort. So we don't have cocktails, at least at this point. But for bars that do, they get to do that now with cocktails. So same thing, if you want to
Yeah.
have a dirty martini sent home with you and sip on that with your maybe just some nachos or something. You have an opportunity to do it. Places will add an extra couple bucks to that on
Hmm.
their menu, and they'll pay the vig for the third party delivery, but
Hmm.
everybody's happy. They'll move through product. I think
And
it's
they'll sell a lot more of
I,
those cocktails or drinks anyway, because if I can get it brought to me, it's so much easier for me to just be
yeah.
like, I'll take this and this and this.
The
We
only
when
thing
we
that
went to go ahead.
you
Go ahead.
probably got to be careful. The only thing you probably got to be careful of and seeing, and I don't know how this really could get back because, in all honesty, I'd much rather have an 18-year-old drinking something at the house that gets delivered to him
Yeah.
than going out to the bars and either driving or being in a car or something. But that will be the key. Is that now you're charging these delivery drivers who are just trying to make a living with carding, and then in fact, if somebody isn't of age, you're asking this Uber driver to be like, no, and
Yeah.
I just don't
And it's
see that
already paid
happening.
for too.
Yeah,
There's gonna I assume at some point there's gonna become some sort of business who will a lot of like say like Uber Eats and Grubhub, whatever the company is, they'll set up some sort of ID verification thing, um, which will verify on there. Um,
yeah,
I already use one called ID.me, for verifying I'm a veteran. When I go on certain websites, I can sign in and get discounts or whatever the case may be, like
cool.
getting free Busch Gardens or SeaWorld tickets once a year. That's what it's verified through. So I assume at some point there will be a business, probably ID Me, honestly, will be the one that'll take that up. And then if there's
Yeah.
alcohol on the order, it'll have to go through that to verify age ID stuff.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
I've always been one of those people that, I mean, how many 18-year-olds I knew in the Army, deployed, that finished basic training, still 18. Some of them went to basic training at 17 because their parents signed off and were allowed to go to war. I'm not going to stop this dude or girl, boy or girl. If you're able to go to war, I'm not going to stop you from drinking. When I was in my mid 20s, I'm like, I'm not going to stop you from drinking, dude. You could deploy
Yeah.
next week and die.
Yeah,
So
there's a
I
lot
think
of
18, it depends. Like it gets tough because like if you're still in high school, you know, then there's like younger kids also involved. But if you're out of high school and you're 18, just don't drive. Just sit at my house and drink, and we'll be all right.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more
And
nuanced.
and I'm not
It's
and I'm not condoning underage drinking by any means. What I'm saying is we need to re-examine that a little bit.
it's tough because I don't think that ultimately it has anything to do with the age, because the age is very arbitrary, obviously, and I think it's less arbitrary as it pertains to military, because you're talking about physical capabilities at that point. Um, but all you need to do is look at the car crash death numbers that are 25 years old and younger,
Yeah.
and it'll just give you a knot in your stomach, and because
Yeah.
there are way and most, I'm sure there's alcohol involved in that in some cases, but that's just overall. People only you only people who have made it through that time frame can look back and nod their heads at what you were like at
Yeah.
18 to 25. But it is one of those things that's just super difficult because of how dangerous alcohol is in the car, that when you give, and that's why like 21 to me is arbitrary too, because they're not any better. I mean, it's better than
Yeah.
18, but the data still tells a story. It's just really, really tough.
I mean,
I don't disagree with
so
you. If you can go to war, you should be able to have a drink. But also,
I'll
if you're looking at it from a trying to be as
statistical point
safe
of
as
view.
possible, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like add alcohol to the 18
But
to that
here's what I
list, and
would
you're
say.
like, damn.
Here's what I would say. And obviously it's hard to quantify what I'm about to say. Some of it is because it's forbidden. Younger people don't get a chance to learn anything about how far they can take things before they're fucked up, or how little it takes for them to be impaired. So if you're X age and you don't get to drink all the time, not that drinking all the time is good, not saying that, but you don't know your limits, it's easy for you to fall into a lot of bad situations, whether it's drinking and driving or just putting yourself in a bad spot. It's very easy for you, without any knowledge of how your body works, without any tolerance. Um, it gets complicated.
Yeah,
So I'd
it's a
rather
tough
my
one.
kids drink with me at the house some and know, than for them to go out to a party for the first time and have no idea. That's
Yeah, I mean, I own a brewery, and my daughter grows up in a brewery, so we she tries fingers of beer. She says she loves all of it. I don't know if she's telling the truth or not.
probably
But
being
yeah,
nice to an extent.
I want to normalize the product, because I don't want it to be something that
Taboo.
is used later to like, yeah, go against your parents and like do something crazy, because I did all
Yeah.
that, because like anyone else, my folks' liquor cabinet was off limits, don't touch that, and then you go in there when they're gone, you're like, ooh, why not? And um I I got I got a couple pretty messed up stories as a real young kid, because I was like, well, I'll try this, and that doesn't
Yeah.
work out. And
Yeah.
so you want to try to avoid that. At the end of the day, I think all of us I think all
We're
of us
just doing
just
our
roll the
best.
dice. Yeah, we just, like, everyone's rolling the dice on a case by case basis. And I look back, boys probably are a little different than girls through that age, but I look back and say to myself, I
Man,
can't. There are
shocked
so
I'm
many
alive.
times that I should have been in legit serious trouble and or dead. Yep, and wasn't. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to protect my own kids from all of those things.
You only
But
gotta
something like
teach.
this, I don't want alcohol uh, to be something that is so foreign that when it's an opportunity, it's like, oh my God, because you see those kids in
Drink as much
college
as
that were
possible.
so sheltered that they
Yeah.
never, and they never did it, and then they went out on orientation night, their first freaking night and week in college,
Yeah.
and they're in the street puking in the gutter, and you're just like, holy cow. And that's not
There-
safe either.
But
It's not safe.
there, but by
It's-
the grace of God, there go I.
That's right.
Type of thing.
That's right.
This isn't something we discussed. It was a link that I did find, but Alabama is also, their governor signed a bill allowing the delivery of beer, wine, and liquor in the state.
Yeah.
Which the amount allowed for beer delivery is the equivalent of 120 12-ounce beers per day. So you should be fine if you go to Alabama and you want to order some beer. You can have up to 120 12-ounce beers, which is
Oh yeah. Florida's 32 ounce, right?
14,400 ounces of beer a day you can order. So,
oh my goodness. Yeah, we're just 32
yeah.
ounces here.
32 ounces here. Maybe some point we'll be able to have close to 15,000 ounces of beer a day delivered, but we'll wait and see. Just a quick touching up on alcohol laws before we move on to the next thing. If you live in Brevard County, congratulations, because as of a week or two ago, you are allowed to buy alcohol from bars and liquor stores 24 hours a day. So if they're open, you can buy it.
Yeah. I don't, I'm no prude, but I don't even know. I'm not saying I don't agree with it. I just don't see the need to increase odds of bad things happening by keeping things open 24 hours a day.
I'm going to say it like this. Most places, most bars, they're not going to stay open 24 hours a day, because the 5 or 6 people that walk in between, say, 3 o'clock in the morning and 7, 8 o'clock in the morning is probably not enough for them to justify being open. Plus you have the extra risk of, anything that happens super late at night, robberies, anything can happen, because there's not the traffic that limits those kinds of things. So probably most places are still going to close at 2 or 3. But technically, if you have a liquor store and it's in a good high traffic area and you want to stay open 24 hours a day in unincorporated Brevard County,
yeah,
there you go.
Make it happen.
I can go to my gas station and I can buy beer and wine 24 hours a day. The only thing they don't sell is liquor, or at least good liquor.
I suppose I guess if that's the case, if there are places that already are open and allowed to do it, although that seems a little odd. That seems weird, but yeah, hey, good for them. Congratulations, Brevard County.
Only one person voted against it, and he was given time to find. He was worried that there would be more drunk drivers at the same time kids were heading to school. I get it. Yeah, I totally understand that issue, but drunk drivers can happen anytime anyway, because people drink and then they go to work. And he could only find one thing that was a 2015 program in Cape Coral that extended the drinking hours from 2 to 4. And there wasn't any appreciable difference. So take it out as you will. Maybe just be a test bed for other things. And we'll see. We can go from there. At least someone's gonna check it out and see what happens, and if nothing bad happens, we'll see. I wouldn't want to do it in a college town like Gainesville. Matt, you there? We may have lost Matt.
No,
Video is paused. There you go.
I'm here.
The video is catching up. Hold on. There you go. But I wouldn't want to do it in Gainesville, because college students, not that they're not smart, but college students make poor decisions. So
that's correct. Speaking of poor decisions, as we move on to our next segment. And also, speaking of Southeast Florida, 305 stand up. We've got a hold my beer story tonight that is also a Florida man story, because why wouldn't it be? I'm this guy who, I think there's actually video of it too, but this guy ended up stealing a cop car during a chase, and there was a report of a suspicious person on the highway, and he got into the cop car, and the people stopped, and he ran into the cop car and drove away. And then they chased him, and they tried to knock him out, and they got him. And even though it crashed, the suspect got out of that car and somehow into another police vehicle that was unlocked in the vicinity and running, and he took off driving again. We have all seen the movies. Let's see, Superbad. Wasn't there a cop car stealing moment in Superbad? There's been several. This guy did it twice
in movies.
This guy did it twice in one police chase. Like, someone needs to be fired. Someone wearing blue needs to be fired, because that's ridiculous. And also, that guy who, said, hold my beer to literally everyone else that has ever been in a police chase, pulled off a stunt. I didn't even get far enough to find out. I assume he was run off the road and eventually arrested. But
they used stop sticks. They forced him off the road again, and he ran off the road and into the median, and then they arrested him. And says the final sentences say the suspect was arrested. Officers are now trying to figure out what to charge him with. So, but if you saw something like that happen, like, and you look at that, you're like, and someone just told you, you'd be like, this is a comedy movie, right? Because, like, what are the odds that, like, because you could just see like
you would throw your hands
like
up
a comedy movie where the guy steals multiple like police cars during a chase. That totally seems like a comedy movie to me. But
it's not. It's the only time it would ever be in a movie where you just wouldn't be like, come on. It's like a Jason Bourne movie.
What are the odds?
Even Jason Bourne movies, he hasn't stolen 2 police cars in one car chase. Excellent.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny story. I when I was first reading that one, I was like, this is a Florida man story.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
But on the good side of the Florida man stuff, that one wasn't as bad as some of the Florida man stories, and not nearly as funny. But there was a Florida man who has gone to some hard to reach areas in Florida, and he gathered in 100 days 14,000 pounds of trash. And I want to give major props to him. His name is Andrew
They don't give his
Tazo.
name, do they? Oh,
yeah,
they do.
Andrew Tazo, 34 years old. He goes around and he gets into those hard to reach areas and swamps and stuff, which that's a lot of work in and of itself to trek through swamps and things. And anyone from Florida knows there's alligators, there's snakes, there's all sorts of things. And he said he was taking out 40, 50, 60-pound bags out of the mangrove trees and stuff. And just want to give him major props as a Florida man doing his best to clean up some of this junk that's around, because it's definitely not easy.
I don't want to be a cynic and tell Andrew that during that 100 days, there was about 14 billion pounds of other trash thrown places.
But if we could all do something.
Because it doesn't matter. Andrew controls what he can control. He does what he can, and it's a lot of good, and that's pretty cool. I wish more people did that. I was in Mexico swimming in a cenote, which for those of you who don't know, in a cave with water.
Mm-hmm.
and there's a freaking mask floating in the water, because I honestly have no idea why anybody was wearing a mask in the cave down here, but there was a littered mask in the
It's like they stuck
cave,
it in their pocket and it floated out or something.
and it was just one thing, but it just sort of triggered me to the point where I was just like, dude, God. And you see it all over the place. We pick up a lot of trash in and around the brewery area, because some folks just think it's cool to just throw trash on the ground. And props to Andrew, because it's not.
Yeah.
And we all got to do a better job.
I'm just going to say, what I do is if I see something on the ground, it's easy enough for me to pick up, especially if there's, trash can nearby. Just pick it up, throw it away. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to produce trash. That trash is going to go somewhere. I get that. But, keep things neat around you. It's not that bad.
Yeah, man. No.
But props to Andrew, because that's pretty super cool of him to do.
We salute you and raise a glass. Andrew, keep picking up trash. And all the rest of you knuckleheads, stop throwing it in the ocean and in the mangroves, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Let the fish live.
Well, that's about it for us, I think, tonight, right?
I think one last thing, which Bay Cannon and Matt is going to be pouring for Bay Cannon at, is the Tallahassee Beer Festival.
Oh, yeah.
In August. He's already in discussions to pour their beer there. So it's supposed to be August 28th, I guess, 2021, which is before football season for at least the Gators. So it's all I really care about.
It's a huge beer festival. I remember when I first read it, I was like, oh my God, a beer festival in late August, but it is indoors in the TLCC, the Donald L. Tucker Center. Will be temp controlled. There'll be a bunch of breweries there. Donations and money raised goes to apparently 15 different charities. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And we're now selling some beer up in the Tallahassee area, and hopefully a little bit more up there as well coming up, and happy to get up there and join the fun for the Tallahassee Beer Festival. Can't wait for that.
I mean, you can go on the website. It's tlhbeerfest.com. You can see the pictures and the prices and stuff, and tickets aren't for sale yet, as far as I can tell, but presumably sometime in the next couple months they'll go on sale. But apparently their last one, they had 1,600 people there, 70 breweries, 200 plus beer options, and distributed 36,000 to local nonprofits. So
that's great. I'm excited. It's festival season, indoor festival season. Even we're back.
Indoor
we're back,
festival
baby.
Season is important in Florida for late summer, early fall. Or just in Florida, anytime in fall really is it's about the same as early fall.
Definitely happy to be back. Get your vaccinations, folks. We're heading inside for a beer festival. It's exciting.
Yeah. Apparently they're going to have 850 Cornhole is going to have a tournament, and Tomahawks 51 axe throwing for a small additional fee will be there as well. So
cool.
Yeah.
We just speaking of Bay Cannon, we just dropped a hazy double IPA today, Elias. This is the second time that he has made its way around. He may be a more permanent fixture now, and he's delicious if you're in the Tampa Bay area. We also have kegs going out around the state and some cans that the distributor picked up Monday. So if you're around, swing through. We got some 4-packs and got some beers on draft.
Yep. Show up, tell Matt you drank some Weihenstephaner, and let them know what you think, and
come
buy
by,
some great beer while you're there.
Come by and tell me what you think, and we'll have a chat. We appreciate you guys, and I don't know what we're drinking next time, but we'll come up with some stuff and
figure something out. I may be sending a box of Gainesville beers down to Matt And actually, this Saturday, there's some stuff coming out of Halpatter that I may want to grab, and I may send you some of that as well. So,
Cool.
Yeah. Whatever we're
Awesome.
drinking, we'll figure it out.
All right. All right, people, keep the beer cold. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace.
Cheers.